and welcome to the third episode of the Apprenticing Jedi. Cheers. So, the second topic from my first podcast, my second learning over the last couple of years through this journey, was that I am not my mind, my body, or my emotions. And I don't know if that is just a laughably obvious thing to everybody. If it is, bless you, for you are a divine being here on earth. But it was not clear to me for 38 years of my life. And it was through two people sharing the same book with me, The Untethered Soul, in a short period of time, that finally got me to look at it. And it was a question. I remember it was about 10 o'clock at night. I think it was a Wednesday. I was sitting at my dining room table. Everybody else was in bed. And I was reading The Untethered Soul. And the question very early, it might have even been the very first chapter, was, who are you, really? You, the one who sees all of it, the continuous observer from when you were a toddler to today, the one who knows that what they see in the mirror is changing over time, the one who knows if you dreamt or not last night. Who is that? And where is that? And from whence has it come? There's so many questions. And it sent me down, well, this entire rabbit hole, frankly. But what it was useful for, in a practical sense, is it allowed me to see that every single thing that I feel as a sense is a gift to me from the universe and a choice over which I can do nothing, everything, or any combination of things. So what I mean by that is, one of the examples Michael Singer is frequent to give is that, like, something like the weather. You're not going to be able to change the weather. There's nothing you're going to do. And it's so obvious that there's nothing you're going to do. So when you step outside on a day that you had plans to do something fun and it's raining and you didn't expect it, it is very useful to know that that sensation of disappointment or rage or whatever it is not you. And it is not something that you are bound to follow for any period of time. And so if you just let the feeling be, it's almost like you're standing in a 3D space, and in front of you comes this fountain of thoughts and emotions and other sensorial information. And you can choose to do something with that or not. So as your body is reacting to the fact that I really wanted to go and ride my bike, and now it's raining, and now my body's reacting to that. Well, I can just let it happen and consciously watch it happen and watch the way in which my body reacts and my mind reacts and all these things. And it's absolutely bananas. It's measured usually in seconds how long it lasts before it's gone forever. And instead, what happens, or I should say, what happened to me, and it would appear that it's been happening to other people for millennia, but I don't want to speak for everybody. So, what appears to happen to me is that when an exogenous input comes and creates some kind of a reaction inside of me, that I typically get pulled into that reaction. My consciousness is overwhelmed by everything that's happening, to the point where it's like when you were a kid, and maybe it still happens to us today, and I just haven't paid attention to it. But I remember distinctly as a kid, especially like preteen era, if you were watching a movie, you could zone out and transport yourself into that realm. You could call it a metaverse, if you will, where you don't realize that anything else exists except the film that you're watching. And that same exact thing. And, if a parent came over and talking to you about Matt, Matt, hello, Earth to Matt, whatever it is, the same exact thing happens to us with our own experiences in life, with the emotions and things that start to react inside of us. We get sucked into it as if it is us. And like you're on a runaway train and there's just no optionality at all. And that is what it is. That's what's happening. But it's because you have chosen to give your unlimited power of your consciousness, your cosmic consciousness, the only thing that we know of that's transcendent to this realm, the only thing we know of that can change predetermined history of the universe. You take that, all that energy, and you're like, here you go, mind. Here you go, emotions. You go ape shit. You do whatever you want. And they do. And you get so pulled into it, it feels inescapable. And that's how you get into these terrorized states or have anxiety attacks or whatever, is because you have entered a realm for which there is no positive outcome your mind can calculate. Um, but it's silly because that's not the realm in which you operate in this life. Anyway, so you may have heard people talking about meditation or mindfulness or all these things. And maybe you do it, and maybe you don't. Maybe you're curious about it, maybe you're not. All of it, though, is simply geared towards inserting a microcosm of space between stimulus and response. So I said the exogenous input comes in, it pierces something inside, and now you're feeling it. You cannot fucking believe somebody had the audacity to take your spot, and now you've got to park on the other side of the lot and you're already late, right? That heart rate, like, it's nuts the way in which these stored experiences come out and terrorize us over and over for our whole lives. So anyway, the moment that you feel that get pierced, you have a choice. And it's really only in that moment at first. At that exact moment, and everybody who's ever felt a shift in their energy, and if you pay attention even for a day, you'll know what I'm talking about. When somebody triggers you, says something that pisses you off, upsets you, unnerves you, whatever, there is a moment in which you know that you have been unsettled. And that might be a half a second at first. In the future, that might be you're just completely aware all the time. But at the beginning, it's at that microcosm in which you feel yourself being disturbed that you have to do something about it. And that something could look like, I am so overwhelmed, I have to walk away. And just that's better. I promise you, even if you're in the middle of the workday and you have to punch out, I swear to you, it will almost always, if not always, be better. And it's sure as shit worth taking the risk because mathematically the odds are well in your favor to get the fuck out of there. Because if you're that overwhelmed by the emotions that are happening, there is absolutely no way you're going to do the most divine thing possible. You're going to terrorize somebody, surely yourself, but probably multiple other people that are in your path. So it's at the moment that the stimulus comes in that you can choose to relax and release. And that premise is what has brought me this whole way, because I got triggered a lot. Like, I don't know, all fucking day, every day, literally all day, everywhere I went, every hour, every minute almost, I was getting triggered by things I saw, heard, smelled, whatever. And so I had lots of opportunity to practice. And eventually what'll happen is the things will come up. You'll choose consciously to say, I am not getting involved in that. I know I don't care about whether or not the person in front of me is going 10 miles under the speed limit because I have nowhere to be. I know for sure I have nowhere to be. And so there's conclusively no possible way that this should matter to me. And so I'm going to step back and I'm going to let it all come up and I'm just going to watch. I'm going to watch it and I'm going to see, maybe I can even find where it comes from. We'll call that an advanced step. But if nothing else, I can see it come up and it will pass and it will be gone. Literally, whatever it was that's been pissing you off about being late for 10, 20, 30 years, 40 years, it's gone. If you let it all the way out. If you feel the whole thing, you don't stop it, you don't push it away, you don't run from it, you don't retrap it, you just feel it, it will literally leave you forever. And if you do that over and over for some time, you will get quite light. Um, anyway, so it's been a really remarkable thing to consider that all of this, all of my body and the constituent parts, including the senses, is a gift for which I have complete choice over what to do. It's really unbelievable how empowering that is. And even when you're going through things that you might normally consider painful or suffering or whatever, be it physical or emotional, you can take the stimulus that you're getting and just say, thanks for the feedback, and then do whatever the fuck you want because it's your body and your mind. Um, the emotions you don't really have control over, which is fine because there's something about the vibration that happens um, that's really beautiful. No matter what the feelings are, it's like a symphony. You've got high parts, you've got low parts, but if all you had was crashing cymbals, it would just be noise. If all you had was a bass, it would just be noise. That you need to have the highs, the lows, the spaces, all of it for it to be something truly beautiful. And that's what life is if you slow down enough to see it. So anyway, um, there's also something kind of sacred, and this is a weird part that I haven't quite figured out yet. But there's something about the notion that I am here and it's all at my fingertips. It has made me start to think about my body, um, I guess, as a more sacred object. I kind of just, and it's probably because I had an embedded notion in my mind that I was a worthless piece of shit. And so, why would a worthless piece of shit take care of their body? It should just be discarded anyway. And you could argue that that's how I was treating myself, with aplomb. And now I see myself as like I have a duty to taking care of this thing for whatever the hell it is the universe wants to do with it. I don't know. I'm just here. And that change of mentality has, at the same time, I made that, like, we'll call it first principle, true north kind of a choice, set my intention, if you will. I also threw away my scale at the advice of my wife. And I went to the doctor the other day for a checkup, endocrinologist, um, annual. I've been going for about 3 years now after I discovered I had catastrophically low hormones, testosterone, estrogen, a whole bunch of other things. Like basically my body just wasn't producing things. Um, I think largely because of this whole thing that I had been so traumatized and so much crap that my body was just like, nah, we're just not going to do this anymore. Um, Story for another day. That's a good one, actually. Anywho, I lost like 15 or 20 pounds and I didn't even try. When I tell you I didn't try, I mean, I didn't fucking try. Like, I go to yoga once or twice a week. That's all I do, guys. I used to work out 7 days a week, sometimes 3 a days. I'm talking about cardio, weightlifting, and fighting all in the same day, every fucking day. And I was a soft marshmallow. I don't know. You can't explain it except hormones. But now I do almost nothing. And it's remarkable what a difference there is. I feel so much better physically, mentally. It does not mean, by the way, that I am uh, not afflicted, because I surely am. Um, I have less in me, but the interesting part about the exiting process is that it's constantly knocking at the door. And so it doesn't really matter if you have an ocean behind it, if it's all coming through a door. It feels like, oh, there's something at the door still. Okay. It's not You can't quite feel the whole weight of it at once as it's coming up. That's more of a macro effect of like just what happens to your overall body as it does keep the score. So there's been a complete change of outcome in terms of at least measurable health things. And I say that, but also I've never been more capable physically. Like as a body, I'm able to just do so much more. Um, and with no like warm up or whatever, it's all just able to happen. And I don't know if I talked about this yet on any of these sessions, but I'm pretty certain now that the reason why animals don't have to stretch ever before they do anything is because they're not storing the crap that we are. And that, when you're working out really hard, or if you run up a flight of stairs and you have that like almost panicky feeling because you're breathing so hard, I don't think it's actually because you're breathing so hard or that your heart's beating so fast. I think it's that your chest or all along your spinal cavity, because it's the thing that if you think about it, it's the thing that moves the least in your body, right? Your spine just doesn't move that much. What a convenient place to store shit. And so now imagine you've run up the stairs and your heart's beating, your chest is expanding, all that shit you stored in there is just like, it's getting shaky. And I think that's what that panicky feeling is. And same kind of thing with working out, and you feel that like lactic acid, blah, 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 blah. I don't even know how much of that's true. Um, it's really interesting now to re-examine a lot of this stuff with just a totally new mindset and a totally new infrastructure with which to experience things. Um, if nothing else, it's making me realize how little we know as a species. And that's fine, by the way. We don't need to know everything. That's the irony. My dog doesn't know a fucking thing, and yet he lives a holy life, and his life is just all the time, just is what it is. There's no decisions to make. Everything's perfect. He just lives nirvana. It just unfolds in front of him like a movie all day. Ay, ay, ay. Anyway, well, one of the things that I concluded as I'm making this stuff is that I don't believe people have an appetite for 90 minutes of listening to me talk nonstop. So I'm going to make these a little bit shorter, maybe 20, 30 minutes. I have no idea how long I've talked so far. And we'll see how that goes. And maybe as people find topics more interesting, or after I can talk some of you suckers into coming on here with me, we'll extend stuff. But anyway, let me know what you think about this. If you think any of this stuff would help somebody, share it with them. I'm getting a large number of messages and emails and texts saying how either this content or things that I'm sharing on the side, which is it's the same content, it's just I'm talking to a human as opposed to a computer, that it's helpful and it's changing people's lives in a pretty profound way. So if you think that might be true, don't be bashful about sharing it with people. You don't have to like make it a public thing. Just, sneak it into somebody's DM, be like, hey, I thought maybe this would be useful. And if there's a piece of this that I haven't talked about yet that either you're curious about, you want to talk about, or you want me to go deep on, let me know, because it's all interesting to me. Thanks, fam. Talk soon.